Now it's day one of the US Open, and you can see all the action live over on Sky Sports Tennis. World number one, Jannik Sinner, will get his campaign started tomorrow.
Yeah, it was revealed on Tuesday that Sinner failed 2 anti-doping tests in March, but he was absolved of fault as his explanation that the banned substance had accidentally entered his system via a product one of his team had used to treat a wound after receiving a massage was accepted.
Robson, Marion Bartoli and Henman discussed the case with Gigi Salmon at Flushing Meadows earlier.
I mean, there were two huge elements to the story. Firstly, Sinner testing positive twice for a banned substance. When you understand the amounts, I mean, I think they talked about a billionth of a gram. So, you know, I don't in any way think that Jannik Sinner was trying to gain an unfair advantage. However, the way the case was dealt with, you know, no one knew about it. There was no suspension. And when you compare that to other players who have been out of the game for months and months, if not years, there's no consistency, there's no clarity there. So I think from a sporting point of view, it emphasises that you know, our drug testing policies are in place and are working, but you know, it's really how the case as a whole was dealt with. So a lot of frustration, I think, amongst other players.
I feel like if you look at the rule book, yes, the rules were followed, but they don't seem to be in other cases, which is why you end up with this uncomfortable situation, isn't it? No one thinks, well, at least I don't think that it was an intentional thing on his part, but at the same time, he can afford the lawyers that have also worked for the drug testing companies. So, I mean, it's a conflict of interest in many ways, which we're quite used to in tennis for sure. But in this case, I think we're seeing an example of someone who can afford to pay for the best, who's got off very quickly compared to someone who's ranked 200 and dealing with a totally different situation, it feels like.
I think it's just the non-consistency across the board that disturb a lot of the players, and I can feel that frustration because it should be equal. And it should be equal across the board, no matter what is your ranking, as Laura alluded to, whether it should be number 1, number 200, whether you're a female or male player, everyone should be following the same protocol. And there is very much a sense of not that in this case, and I think if Jannik Sinner's case can help moving forward, I think a lot more consistency around here will gain from that situation.
Social media likes to get active when things happen.
Oh, it went out of control completely.
I mean, look, that is the best way to describe it all. It was out of control, and we're talking players, past and present, people who've got nothing to do with the sport, don't know about the sport. Everyone had something to say.
Everyone had something to say, whether they put it on social media or not. It was all anyone here was talking about during qualies for the 48 hours after. You know, everyone's got their own opinion. You saw the difference in opinions when people actually read the 33-page document and realised what had happened, how they got to the decision so quickly. Jannik Sinner actually has handled it pretty well, all things considered. In his press conference, they wanted to shut down the questions. He was like, no, I'd rather be open and honest, answer anything that comes my way. He's done several sit-down interviews since then, and he's really going to be talking about this for the next few months. So the fact that he's taken it on the chin and has accepted that, doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact, and he can rely on his story because it stayed so consistent. But yeah, I would imagine there's more opinions than what we just saw.